of the 3 mana token generating effects, both Midnight Haunting and Lingering Souls, on top of Gather the Townsfolk. That sort of is the core of the token aspect of the deck, alongside 4 Honor the Pure and 4 Intangible Virtue. He has 3 main deck, Sword War Piece, 2 Go for the Throats, 2 Oblivion Rings, and a Miser's White Sun Zenith, on top of a creature base of 4 Dune Travelers, 4 Champion of the Parish, and 3 Hero Bladeholds.
And then Adam's deck, he is playing Drog Skull Captains and Lingering Souls. He's playing a Spirit style sort of Esper deck, who he has deck designer listed as Tom Lapilli and Friends. But Adam's deck, very similar to the deck that John Finkel and Jelger Wiegersma made top 8 with at Proto Dark Ascension in Honolulu. He has a little bit of spice here, though. His sideboard has a couple copies of a nice one.
I don't know what that card is.
Saving Grasp. Have you not played the limited format very much?
I have actually not drafted with Dark Ascension once.
Okay.
I might try to do one this weekend, because I feel obviously behind the 8 ball at this point, but no, I have actually not drafted yet.
Saving Grasp is an instant for 1 blue, return target creature you control to your hand, or that you own to you control to its owner's hand.
Okay.
And then white flashback.
Okay.
It's instant. So
presumably comes in against spot removal.
Yeah, it's very good against decks that are trying to actually attrition out your creatures.
Yep.
So, which for a deck that has such central creatures as Drog Skull Captain that it really wants to be able to keep around, I can definitely see that being a pretty powerful card. Chris's deck, he's managed to fit not only the Crusade effects, but also Sword of War and Peace as sort of creature pump in his deck. Though it looks like he's done so at the expense of lands. He has only 21 lands in his deck, which seems a bit light for a deck with Hero of Bladehold.
Yeah,
so we were casting Hero of Bladehold out of Tempered Steel, so who knows?
Right. Well, I mean, when I was watching, I had Wesco on camera a couple times 2 weeks ago, and it seemed like, obviously this is a small sample size, whatever, he was having some hiccups with both raw land count and colored mana, because he is just playing 10 plains, 4 swamp, 4 isolated chapel. This deck does not have particularly good mana.
Right, yeah. I actually was playing a black-white sort of aggro deck. It wasn't really tokens, it was more black-white, just like creatures, and the mana was definitely a serious issue. He has the 3 Vault of the Archangel in here, which certainly don't help your mana. They're a very powerful card, but when you're playing a deck with a low land count, having a significant number of colorless mana sources in your deck can definitely be problematic in actually hitting your colors.
Also, the 1 White Sun Zenith is just the cherry on top of the I don't care that I don't have enough lands cake.
I mean, sometimes you want to go deep, Sometimes what you need are a lot of cats, but when you have 21 land in your deck, sometimes what you get is 2 cats.
Yeah.
But all right, well, I believe Chris is mulliganing here. It looks like Adam is happy with his hand, giving Chris the stare down.
But it's a friendly stare down. It's a friendly stare down.
It's not a was stare. It's more of a you ready? Ooh, that's a pretty land.
Yeah.
Looks like it's what's that like? I don't even know what edition that is. It's 4 in black border.
It's some sort of Asian 4th edition. I'm pretty sure.
Was 4th edition black bordered?
It was in some of like the
where it was the
or
first
revised
printing.
maybe like
Gotcha.
the where all the black border dual lands came out of. Like there's been runs like that. Obviously those are not the same set, but whatever. But there were some 3rd edition / 4th edition runs in foreign languages that were printed black bordered.
So Chris revealed a not so exciting hand with just lands, a Lingering Souls, and a Sword of War and Peace. Sword not at its best in this matchup. Delver. Definitely a deck that can punish people who are committing too much mana to invest in a single creature.
Although once online, it can obviously be quite good once it's online.
Yeah, absolutely. If you actually connect with a sword, it's very good. But the actual difficulty in connecting with it is the problem. So the Lingering Souls
met with a
gets mana leaked. And as we were saying before, the difficulty in colored mana commitments can make it very hard for Chris to get the value out of that Lingering Souls. He only has plains in his hand, from what we can tell.
Yeah.
And Lingering Souls comes down for Adam. He does, however, have the mana to flashback.
It's funny how the 3-color decks can often have better mana bases than the 2-color decks, because you just have more potential dual lands to cross section.
Yep.
And just a pass from Basco. Prosak still unable to flip his Delver. Appears to be having a good chuckle about it.
Which is sort of amusing because Adam, had mentioned, that he was playing Insectile Aberration, not Delver.
Yeah.
He has yet to play Insectile Aberration, but that draw spell captain, oh captain, my captain, 4 damage right there.
Someone is a token spirit deck and the other one is not. Can you identify them? You've guessed incorrectly.
Adam is holding his Delver back. Yep, for fear of Midnight Haunting, which very clearly came. He knew that Chris had that Sword of War and Peace in his hand, so that Midnight Haunting was not really
too much of a surprise.
Yeah, pretty much what.
So a 5th land here, and Basco can actually suit up and start racing.
Yeah, that can be a lot of damage. Though if Prosak has like a gut shot, it ends up being a lot of investment for very little.
Oh,
but there's no land.
It could be awesome, a black card.
We do see an Honor the Pure.
That he just drew go.
Yeah, he just drew go for the throw, but he does have Honor the Pure in his hand. So he could play his Honor the Pure, which can let his spirits trade with either the spirits or even the flip Delvers, which I think is what he has to do.
Yeah, the only other angle that he has really is to cast Source, they go, potentially take 1 million, and then next turn he has Honor plus Equipped Sword, but that seems like a bad use of mana.
Worse, right? I think that he can't afford to take the hit here, because if those Delvers flip, he's dead if he doesn't play Honor the Pure. He needs to be able to trade with them. And there's the Honor the Pure comes down. Prosak
has a snag in his hand.
And
nope.
He is in fact playing Delver of Secrets. He does have a snag though, so just the 2 spirits come in. I like that, given that he knows that Chris has the sword. So Lingering Souls returns for more. I always want to sing like the Cranberry songs. Further dating myself, do you have to let it linger?
I don't know. Oh. Literally do not know what you are referencing.
Very old in this community.
No, just old in general. Well,
I mean, like, specifically, in the world of Magic.
Sure. You've aged gracefully, Brian.
So,
he just drew Hero Blade
Hold, which
right into the maw of a Vapor Snag, and then he will not survive Adam's attack.
Yeah.
Because the Delvers will flip. It's just been too long. They're due.
What are the odds? They're due.
This is a nice little kind of subtle trick that's happening here, or could happen here. With 2 Delvers in play, Prosak didn't sack his Evolving Wilds, because if the top card is not something he wants to draw, or he wants to just he wants to try re-upping on his Delver flip, he can shuffle his deck and go again.
He, however, was not so subtle and just played played another captain and killed him.
I'm just saying, he could have if he wanted to.
So Adam Prosak takes that first game, and we saw Chris struggling with some colored mana problems that we had discussed the problems that Black White Tokens has with exactly that. How do you think this sideboarding goes?
Well, he has nothing really good to bring in, I guess. Here, we'll swap. You see?
Okay, I'll go look in here. I mean, the cards I definitely want to be taking out here are things like Hero Blade Hold. I think Hero Blade Hold comes out for sure.
Mortarpod's decent?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Sword of War and Peace here, at least not in numbers. I could see keeping maybe 1 or 2 in. I mean, one of the big problems that Black White Tokens has in general is really what we saw that game, is that it has so many cards that are based on enhancing its tokens, and it doesn't draw enough token generators, or those token generators get countered or whatever. Those cards just don't do anything.
Right.
And Chris died that game with two swords in his hand that he never had a chance to get any value out of.
And wouldn't have even been particularly good, even had he could have gotten it.
Right.
Like, even if he rips a 5th land, the turn where he haunting, it still wouldn't have been that exciting.
Right, and he would have ended up just getting blown up by Paper Snag. So, I think that what he wants to do here is board in the Mortar Pods, for sure. I think board in the Sorin, I guess. Yeah, he really doesn't have many cards that are particularly good for this matchup. He, you don't see anything like Day of Judgment is a card I actually tend to like. He doesn't have Timely Reinforcements. Timely Reinforcements is a card that's pretty impressive.
That was a card that was absent from West Coast sideboard that I was a little surprised by. It just seems like such a natural.
I'm gonna take a look to see how this compares to Wesco's exact list. Check our deck list archive.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't use this regularly, the standard and legacy deck list.
List of deck lists.
Can be found on the right hand side of the StarCityGames.com front page, and is a great source for stuff like this.
And from Prosak side of things, I think he wants probably just the 2 copies of Timely Reinforcements. And
is Timely Reinforcements that great here?
I think it's. I think it's fine, right? Like,
it's okay.
You're definitely. If you lose, it's because you get out beat down, not because you get out controlled.
Is it? I don't know. It seems like the games that you lose tend to be the ones where you're facing down, a number of tokens and crusade effects, and you don't really have anything that can really interact favor with them. It seems like something like negate, maybe dissipate are reasonable cards to bring in.
Negate for sure is good.
If you had a revoke existence, that would be I think the best card to bring in, but he doesn't have access to that. I mean, negate certainly comes in. The question is whether dissipate versus like timely reinforcements. I don't think he wants like batter skull here. Just gets too easily trumped. So looking, our internet connection is not the greatest here. It's just a little bit slow, but I'm working on this. I'm pretty
sure Wesco did not have a white Zenith in this deck. I'm almost positive on that.
It seems like the sort of card that he would be less likely to play.
Yeah. It's possible he just straight cut a land for a white Zenith, from what I recall.
I'm mostly curious about the sideboard, because come on. I think it's loading. But regardless, the sort of card. What sort of cards do you think that were you playing black white tokens that you'd want for this matchup?
Commander pod, if you want to fill that out.
Probably additional spot removal.
Okay.
Would be
though. I mean, spot removal is pretty hard to cast when you don't really have that many black sources.
No, but something that's actually castable.
Sure. Yeah, it looks like
another Oblivion Ring or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, he just straight cut a land for a. He cut.
It looks like he's playing 4 less planes, 1 more vault. So he got 3 land, and he's playing the swords. Cut a hero for a white Zenith compared to Wesco's list. Wesco's list has Day of Judgment in the sideboard, which is the sort of card that I would certainly want here. Day of Judgment is so good against the spirit versions because they rely on a critical mass of creatures.
It's also harder for that deck to beat you down with Mana Leak backup because they have so much to do at 3 on their main phase.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. Shrine of Loyal Allegiance.
That is out of the sideboard.
That would not been a card I would have predicted he would have brought in, but
more of a card that I associate with the control matchups than something you would want.
Yep. All right, so Gather, which we are under the new player guidelines, which means he can actually miss this on his shrine. For those of you who Adam reminds him anyway. Good guy Prosak reminds him of his shrine. But there's actually for those of you who aren't familiar with the changes to the what's IPG actually stand for? In something player guidelines? Penalty guidelines. Something penalty guidelines? I don't know exactly. But anyway, the major difference between the new guidelines and the old ones are that players can actually miss. They can actually you are not obligated to remind your opponent of a mandatory trigger. So the trigger on Shrine is mandatory, but you can actually miss it, though Adam is not letting him.
Yeah.
So here we have the gather tokens coming
Which
in.
is philosophically a rules change I'm very much against.
Fair. So Adam played Lingering Souls. Chris responded with an Honor the Pure, which is pumping Gather the Townsfolk. So Chris is definitely on the beat down here with 4 damage coming in.
Yep.
Prosak cracks back for 3.
Especially in Dungeon Geist on the token.
Geist takes down the token, okay.
Because that Delver hasn't flipped, this is actually a place where the Shrine actually might be quite good this game.
Yeah. But there's still a number of flyers that are smacking Chris in the face here that can prove problematic.
The ideal turn here, I think, would just go for the throat to
Into Lingering Souls?
or into blow up Shrine.
Attacking with the token.
He just played Vault. So
Oh. I did not notice that. Alright, so the token...
yeah, he's willing to make that
He's
trade.
blocking, okay. So Chris gains 2, token dies.
And that trade's pretty attractive from Prosak's perspective, just to keep Basco off of busting the Shrine open.
Yeah, it's taking up his turn.
Because once Shrine plus Vault gets online, that is a tough race to win.
Right, absolutely.
Prosak revealed a Gataxian probe to his Delver, finally getting it flipped.
First flipped Delver of the match. A Gataxian Probe reveals Lingering Souls, Doom Traveler, and Sword of War and Peace. So that sword is still in his deck. I don't know that I would have made that attack last turn if I could have played in flashback Lingering Souls, but Snapcaster.
He might have been thinking he was just free rolling.
Right.
So there's
yeah,
no way that
I think
Prosak
there's
would block.
which is that's I think something that you see a reasonable amount when people they just sort of make an attack because they're like there's no way they can block. Then like sort of we saw play a couple rounds ago with when Mitchell attacked Thrun into 2/2/1s, and Chris chose to block, forcing Mitchell to regenerate. That's the sort of play that a lot of people they will often not consider all the implications of. So they're like, oh, it's just free damage, my guy regenerates. It's like, well, you have to pay mana to regenerate, or you have to pay mana to use your Vault. So here, Prosak flashes back Lingering Souls, has quite the army. We have the Shrine up to... Oh.
He's saying that he missed the trigger.
Oh. Okay.
And this is basically, I feel like it should be the obligation of rules enforcement and both players to, as much as possible, try to maintain an accurate game state. So I really dislike policies that allow the game to actually be in a game state that it could not have been in, which is like missing Shrine triggers and that sort of stuff.
I mean, philosophically, the idea behind the change is that that players always feel bad about having to remind their opponent of something that can potentially be game-winning, and that the honest players are penalized when the dishonest players aren't reminding opponents of it, and they're getting away with it. But it's totally understandable, and I think we actually just saw that Shrine not tick up in the same turn. All right, so we have quite the Air Force coming in.
But Basco's going to be able to break open his Shrine, and then Shrine plus Vault can start getting that online.
So Basco takes a pretty big hit. Looks like he took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage.
Yeah, but he's going to be getting a lot of this back.
Yeah, he just made 5 soldiers. So if he swings with his entire team, or 5 mirrors, swings with his entire team, he can lifelink for 8. So that is in fact a lot. If he has another land, he can also flashback Lingering Souls, which is going to give him a pretty strong defense. Yeah. I think one of those spirits should not have untapped, though. Wasn't one of those spirits under the Dungeon Geist that was just played?
I don't know. One of them got.
Maybe it was an old Dungeon Geist
Yeah.
that died last turn. That might have happened. No, that was the Dungeon Geist that died before. I'm a little confused. Oh, it looks like he just put it aside. That was the one that was that has him blocking that. So he can actually he's gonna gain 7 if he activates the vault this turn. So yeah, he does vault, which kills those 2, gains him 7 life, goes up to 14. Prosak drops to 9. Now, if Chris has another land here, he can play Lingering Souls, which puts him in a very good spot. And there's another land, Lingering Souls.
Yeah,
all right, so yeah, that's big. If he hadn't had that land there, he would have still been taking. Well, actually, he's still probably pretty far ahead.
He still gets to cast Champion of the Parish. Like he
Right.
still gets to add another thing to his board.
Yeah, yeah.
Side of the stage. We'll get you started. $10 draft number 3.
And there's a.
Big draw from Adam.
Is that enough though?
No, I think he's getting clobbered on this damage race.
Yeah, he's just way too far behind that vault, or those vaults now. Not that one of them living play would mean much. So if Adam, he sends with, interesting. So I think Adam's idea here is that he wants to try and trade away as much as possible because the less creatures are in play, the less powerful Vault is.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much trying to convince his opponent to just block there, but wanted to leave back enough that he could block as much as possible.
Right, because if he attacks with too much, Basco can just take it all.
Right.
And then crack back for.
Yeah, and if he didn't attack there, he's giving Basco more life because he's clearly going to attack with his guys. So by giving him an incentive to block, he clears off a creature from the board, which means less life gain for Basco when he activates Vault this turn.
Yeah.
We've received, by the way, that IPG that I couldn't think of the what it is, an abbreviation for it is Infraction Procedure Guide, acronym rather. So we have 2 spirits and 5 mirror coming in. Those are apparently Facebook, Twitter mirror, if you look at the back of them.
So I'm assuming that we're going to trade off the tokens here and just let the mirrors come through again.
Yep, looks like it. So activates, which puts Prosak to 4 and Basco to 21. Not a very good race for Adam.
Yeah. Sort of challenging to trade cards with tokens. Historically, not a good race.
In particular, when the token. I mean, he's trading for tokens, to be fair. But yeah, the biggest thing here is just the power of Vault this game, and Adam having a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna see a game 3. And
where do you stand on the change to the penalty guideline?
I understand the motivation behind them, because I do think that, in particular, I think the fact that honest players were essentially being largely punished by being forced to point these things out when dishonest players were getting away with it.
But to me, that feels exactly the same as like someone misrecording the life total or some other game state violation where honest players point it out because that's the rules and you're supposed to maintain accurate game state. And dishonest players don't have to do it, but presumably at some point will get caught for cheating because that's what that is.
Yeah.
Feels no different to me than you see your opponents at 17 on their life total when you know they're actually at 18 and then you just change it to 17.
I think a lot of it has to do with there are a lot of effects that would have at some point in the game's history been printed as may, but that are universally printed as do this now rather than may effects. They're printed as mandatory triggers, simply largely for just like conservation of language. And you see a lot of these things that I think players get upset about because they feel like they're sort of because they're being an honest player, they're sort of pointing out their opponent messed up and but like they have to do it because it's in the rules previously. And that I feel like with the new IPG, players don't have that sort of feel bad of my opponent missed it, but I had to point it out. And there's not the incentive to not point it out, which is one thing that I think was and do it dishonestly. I think the fact that players sort of had that incentive of, well, if he misses this, and like I don't point it out, then, or rather, and I don't point it out and it doesn't happen, then I win this game. It's sort of this odd incentive for players to behave dishonestly. And I don't know. I agree with you that there's sort of the way that the game should be, and that this is able to based on the way the cards are written. But I think that it's the movement from may to must was more of sort of it was more of a philosophical change of how we're going to handle things as opposed to how the cards are really intended to function.
Well, there's also a difference between May and Must. Like for me, the reason to have mandatory on the shrines, for example, is because the shrine actually triggers and resolves while your card is still in the stack. So it's really awkward to go play Lightning Bolt, trigger Red Shrine, destroy Shrine, trigger Resolve, blah. But now in this new guideline is if my opponent goes Lightning Bolt you with a Red Shrine, and I'm like, okay, resolves, put the bolt in the graveyard, then they go take up their shrine, I'm like, no, it's too late, you missed it.
No, that's actually not how it works. You basically there are certain types of effects that you can sort of wait as long as you haven't passed into a later phase of the turn, you're still able to do it.
All right,
we have a game now though, so
turn 1 Delver from Adam, once again not flipping.
Remains Delver, and a
Doom Traveler
holding it off from Chris. So Doom Traveler comes in, no respect for the Delver, and
I was like, what's this all about?
Discards Gather the Townsfolk. I don't know. But no, and
taking a surprising angle in his third game.
So Prosak flips. We have an Insectile Aberration who is
bashing,
already tapped to attack. So Basco down to 17 life, and I'm guessing Prosak will likely go down to 17 as well to cast that Gitaxian Probe. Well, maybe not.
Well, it's just tough. Obviously he wants to preserve his life total here, so it's just what can he do with his mana, and what does he project happening?
Yep. So we have a Gitaxian Probe for the mana cost, as unusual as it is, revealing a pretty sweet hand from Chris with both Midnight Haunting, Lingering Souls, Vault of the Archangel, and the mana to use all of it. And we have a second Aberration. All right. Yeah, Adam knows that he needs to win this game fast. He needs to win before
Time's not on this side.
Before those vaults get online. And I believe Chris just drew Intangible Virtue, which is a nightmare for Adam. So what do you think? How do you think Chris should play this?
I probably just cast Lingering Souls this turn. Set up Virtue plus Flashback Souls on the next turn.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. There's the option of playing the Virtue this turn. You're ensure your opponent can't mana leak it.
And he's willing to just chump attack here to get another token.
Sure. There we go. That's a lot of tokens. And if Adam cannot stop a Virtue, this game is likely going to be over.
2 lands and an image, and he's quickly shuffling.
We are soon to see why these cards were banned in block.
Why is this card too good? Well, it turns your 1/1s into 2/2s. No, I understand that. That's all the card does. I don't understand. And Adam just ripped a snag, which is pretty much the perfect draw for him here.
All right, so both the Delvers come in. I think we have no blocks. He doesn't have a vape. He doesn't have a mana leak. So is another snag. Yeah, I think Adam's in some serious trouble here. That attack dropped Chris to 11 life. With Vapor Snag, he can deal with a token, but knowing what we know, he doesn't know that Chris has Intangible Virtue.
Yeah.
He does know that Chris has the ability to flashback Lingering Souls, but the fact that Chris didn't block this turn, I think is indicative that he has a Crusade effect.
Yeah. Because in theory, if his hand's top heavy, he's happy to sort of attrition away a little bit to slow the game down.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's definitely a signal.
And so we have image. a third Aberration. But this turn is going to go very badly for Adam. We're going to see Virtue come down turn that 5 power to 10 power. Ooh, it cruise. Oh wow, drew it out of the pure.
I still
think Lingering Souls is probably better actually, but
right, because now he's in really dangerous. Like Adam has 2 snags. This is actually somewhat dangerous. And also, if you're just gonna vault next turn,
was Adam at?
Adam's just trading off, so he's just gonna snag the 2 flyers.
Snag, hit for 6. Yeah, I think you wanted to cast Lingering Souls for sure.
Yeah, because like all you want to do is trade off.
Right, so snag, hits you for 6. Adam's at 7, but Chris
just fell to 3, right?
Yeah, he's down to 3, but he still has that vault, and he also has the Lingering Souls and the Midnight Haunting. So Adam's still in a pretty bad spot. So Chris draws.
Knocks Adam down to 3.
It's actually
the 1. Sorry, right. Sorry, yeah. Rather down to 1.
And then post-combat vault, flashback Lingering Souls.
I probably just jammed the vault there because then you're just like, now he's dead to snag on the way back.
Well, no, he has Midnight Haunting as well.
Oh, he still has Midnight Haunting. Okay, sure. So don't you cast Midnight Haunting on the upkeep, I guess?
You definitely cast it in response to Ponder.
If you're obligated to make that play anyway, then you probably just have to cast it on his upkeep.
Right. There's very little incentive to wait until he's seen more cards. Adam
does not have enough of the pieces to pull out. So
coming back from a Game 1 loss, Chris Basco wins the match 2-1.
Defeating local legend Adam Prosak. And score 1, at this stage of the game, I love Adam, but when the Delver deck takes 1 on the chin, I'm usually
seeing the top deck lose.